What's up, y'all? This your girl, Ms Maggie T with Atlanta Falcons Nation. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button so you won't miss another post from me. But definitely want to go ahead and get into some stuff that got me shaking my head. If y'all haven't already heard, but there was an interview recently. I really don't know how recently, but Malcolm Butler, former cornerback of the Patriots, who is now a positions mate with former Falcon Robert Alford of the Arizona Cardinals. He basically stated that Alford admitted that the team was celebrating very hard in the locker room at halftime as if the game was already over. And we were up at that time 21-3. And you already know those 28-3 jokes will probably be rehashed because of what he admitted to. Why, Mr. Alford? Why? You know what I'm saying? But, of course, Butler stated, I talked to him about it, asked him if he wanted his ring back. You know, it was just a whole big old joke. And he told me a story. He said he was in the locker room at halftime where he was about to pop some bottles and things like that. Of course, it was funny at the time, but they came right on back and beat us. So that premature celebration that was going on in the locker rooms just showed me one thing. On a Dan Quinn, it was all fun and games. It was all brotherhood, no accountability, and there was no one in the locker rooms telling them to take charge and you adjust. Because you already know, the way the Falcons played that season, yeah, it was nice that we got to the Super Bowl, but if you know the team that I knew, it was too early to call it because of the fact that after halftime, we always went away from what worked. And it showed just that. We did not make any adjustments. Of course, we pointed the fingers at the wrong players, but it was an overall team effort. And everybody is to blame for that Super Bowl loss, including all coaches, especially how that playbook mysteriously disappeared right before the Super Bowl and then came right on back after somebody jotted down some things. And it doesn't really mean that we needed that playbook to be exposed because, shoot, the Falcons were predictable anyway. So those team players knew exactly what was coming even before we thought that we had something going. The team already knew what was going to happen. So that just makes me mad. And it reminds me of that team that went to Miami and blew it all over again in the first Super Bowl. We went out there, we partied it up, we had a parade right before, and they just acted a damn fool out there right before the Super Bowl, and once again went into that year and stunk it up also. So just no sense of urgency, no leadership. It's not over until the fat lady sing. You got to get out there and adjust and do what you need to do. All that partying and playing, it's uncalled for. Speaking of partying and playing, Arthur Smith, he don't play that. If anybody heard that recording of him being mic'd up that Atlanta Falcons put on their Instagram and Twitter and everything, where Coach Smith was mic'd up, and you can hear from everything that he was saying, he mean business. He even got on the players that was out there celebrating for just 2 yards. And he said, what are y'all doing? It was just 2 yards. Why are you celebrating? That means stop all the shenanigans, stop all the playing and hoorahs. That's your job. Do it and get right back to it. All that playing and practice, he don't like that. He means business, and I love to see that. And you can kind of see that in Dean Pease as well, that defense are stepping it up just a little bit. I'm definitely seeing a little bit of improvement, but of course it's just preseason, it's just practice, so nothing to get too excited about. But any improvement is good for me, you know what I'm saying? I'll take that. But with that being said, of course we had those joint practices in Miami, where we flew out Tuesday and had the Wednesday and Thursday night, afternoon, where they practiced against those opponents, and it was better. It was still structured and controlled, but it gave us an opportunity to see some of those starters and things like that do their magic against those opponents. And there, definitely saw some great outcomes of that, man. Kevin Ridley, come on now. He's showing that he is definitely supposed to be number one at that position. I'm definitely loving to see what I see out of Calvin Ridley as well. So with that being said, let's get into what's going to happen on Saturday. It does look like, though, they are going to be sitting out Matt Ryan and AJ McCarron. He will actually be starting all over again, as the coaching staff just wants to give him another opportunity to be evaluated and bounce back from that poor performance, especially due to how terrible that offense looked against Tennessee. We'll give them a chance to come back in and redo what we was trying to see from the offense. I know defense showed up and showed out, but offense definitely looked terrible. Now, with that being said, Felipe Franks will also close the game out, so it's going to be the same exact thing. And as well as most of the starters will also be sitting out for this game. Now, we will get a chance against that Browns game August 29th to see all the starters come out and play. So, don't be alarmed. You're going to get to see some starters eventually. But the fact that we are one less of a preseason game, we got to be very careful as far as who we play and keeping everybody healthy. Because, of course, this gives the reserves and the younger players an opportunity to be better evaluated before the Falcons have to make their cut again from 85 to 80 players by 4 p.m. Tuesday. And, it really wasn't a fair assessment with how crappy that offense played. You know what I'm saying? So couldn't make too many evaluations due to that. So with that being said, speaking of injuries, tight end Ryan Becker, he did suffer an injury and was placed on that reserve by the Falcons this Friday. And we end up signing David Wells, who's 6'6", 260 pounds. And I guess he's ready for action. He will be playing this Saturday. So with that being said, that's all I got for you guys. Just let me know what you think about sitting the starters out. You think that's a good move? I just say they need to be just as healthy as they can be, because with that extra game that we now have, that's a regular season game, we need them to be as healthy as we can possibly get them with very short preseason time. So, hey, joint practice was probably the best for us. But until the next time, this is Ms Maggie T with Atlanta Falcons Nation, and we are the nation, and I'm out. Peace.